What's going on, guys? It's Nick here, back with another fantasy football video, and this one is going to be a 12-team PPR mock draft, and it's actually the last mock draft Monday. This will be going up. God, I don't even know what day that would be, but whatever the Monday is before the season starts. I have to record this. It's currently August 26th on Friday, so over a week before I'll be putting it up. So if things change, if I draft someone that's hurt for some reason or something big happens, I'm sorry. I do have to record this before I go to school. So this will be the last one, and then actually Wednesday will be the last video I'll be posting. Maybe posting some videos during the season just on like the subscriber league updates, but that'll be it. This is the last mock draft, and this was requested by someone from the 10 spot. And really all of the mock drafts I've done have been requests from people to draft from different positions. And I'm sorry if I couldn't do yours, but there was just so many requests. Like, I don't have enough weeks to actually do that. Like, there's not enough time, and I don't want to make every single video a mock draft. So here, look at the wide receivers. Obviously, you guys generally know who I like to take. There's gonna be an auto draft there, but AJ Green would be the preferable pick here. I'm rising a lot on Allen Robinson, so if I can get him in the second round, that would be nice. I just think that he's going to separate himself as an elite talent this year. I know I made the video saying that he could be a bust, but I just don't believe that anymore. I've taken that video down. I thought the more video is more geared towards, I think Bortles will be a bust. But then that's when Bortles was being drafted, because I made the video maybe, I don't even know, 2 months ago, and that's when Bortles, AJ Green not taken. That's when Bortles was literally being taken inside the top 10. I think he was going like 8th or 9th overall, well, for quarterbacks. And now he's dropped a good amount. Where actually is he now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's 10th right now. Still, that's like okay value. I have him like 12th or something. But I wouldn't draft him. Just because I think the opportunity is not going to be there as much. But I think Allen Robinson's going to be fine. He's going to separate himself from Allen Hurns this year. He's just a fantastic talent. So with this pick, would I take him? Probably not. Let's see. Not quarterbacks, running backs. Freeman's not a first-round pick. Lamar. Yuck. Everyone's gone. Of all of these guys, I would take Allen Robinson here. I know that I could potentially get him in that next pick, but I want to make sure that I get him. So Allen Robinson there, then we target another one of these guys. I don't think I'd take Lamar. I have my rankings and stuff, but honestly, I don't really pay attention to the overall rankings. I did have Marshall ranked higher, but I might move that. I think I'm going to move Allen Robinson up a spot. And I say I have my rankings just because I do have Lamar Miller as a first round value. And this being only, it's a standard like roster setting, so there's only 3 wide receivers you can start. I feel pretty comfortable taking Lamar, especially because I feel like there's a drop off. Maybe Jamal Charles would be nice. Not at this pick, but like, I don't think there's a drop off there. But, Brandon Marshall though. The pick would either be Marshall or Lamar Miller. So that pick would be 34. I think I could still get another pretty solid wide receiver. But yeah, I'm going to go Brandon Marshall here. I do have him ranked higher, I'm pretty sure, than Lamar Miller. Miller's 8th overall, Marshall's 6th overall. But the thing is, I don't really pay attention. That's why I don't like making like top 200 or whatever. Like, I have top 30, but I don't even pay attention to it. Just because I like to draft wide receivers early, so even if I have a running back ranked higher, I just like the tiered rankings in that if I get to a spot where I need a running back, all I do is pull up running back and I take who I have roughly higher. And that depends too. Like, I can take more upside versus a safety pick in my running backs right now just because I have 2 stud wide receivers. I don't need a Frank Gore that's going to give me 6 points a game. I don't need that. I'd rather take someone who might get 0 a ton, but who could go off in a season. I'd rather just take upside at this point. Would I take a running back in this next one? Probably not, just because if you look at the running backs, it's basically this is what you want. If you're going to take a running back early, you want these guys in PPR, and then it drops off. So when you get into this range, I feel like a lot of these guys are pretty much the same. So I'm not going to be the first one. I'm going to be the last one to take someone in this range. Like I'm not going to reach on Doug Martin when I think that Woodhead will put up similar numbers to him in PPR and I can get him a couple rounds later. So I would take Charles, I would take McCoy, and I would take Lacey. I would take those 3 guys with the next pick, but I'm not sure I would take anyone else. Just because, and they're not going to be there, obviously. But, I mean, it's possible, I guess. We're probably not going to be there. I'd wait till that 39 pick, and I'd just make sure that I get another stud receiver. Because, I mean, look at who's still on the list. Like, Jordy, well, not anymore. But, like, there's a lot of guys here. That's like 7 guys here that I would prefer to take over running back. Actually 6. I think I miscounted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 7. There's 7 guys here that I would prefer, honestly, over most running backs. And I know I say, like, I basically just said I'd rather T.Y. Hilton than any running back, but, like, at this spot where you get T.Y. Hilton, there's no running back that would ever still be on the board that is worth more than Hilton to me. Especially in a PPR league where wide receivers, you need a stud. I want 3 studs every single week, which is why I have started drafts that you can start 4 wide receivers. I've started those drafts with 6 wide receivers because I want to ensure that every single week I have studs at those 4 wide receiver positions. I want to ensure that. So, I don't know. People don't like filling up the bench, but literally, if you start 4 wide receivers, there's 4 bye weeks there. There's potential every single week for one of those 4 guys to have a really difficult matchup, or maybe be a little banged up, or maybe their quarterback gets hurt. So why not have 2 guys to fill in with those roles? If you're gonna end up being like, oh, my guy's hurt, that I don't want ever to have that excuse of, oh, my stud wide receiver got hurt, now I have no depth. Well, no, my stud got hurt, so I put in my other stud. So every single week I have a stud. And there's still 4 left, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 picks. Only 3 left now. Although, actually, I would consider Jarvis Landry a stud in PPR because he's going to get 100 catches. And Parker did not impress me yet in the preseason. I thought he'd be like pretty good in the preseason, and he hasn't really shown me anything. Evans, Demarius, T.Y., Landry. I'm having a tough time with Demarius, Hilton, Landry in PPR. I think they're all... Yeah, Demarius, Hilton, Landry are all like 3 back-to-back-to-back. It's tough because I feel like Hilton has a lot more upside with the yardage totals than Landry does. But Landry's going to catch so many more passes. I think he might make up for it. But I see a bounce back year for Luck in that I'm willing to roll the dice on Hilton because I think he is a clear-cut number 1. And then there's Moncrief and Dorsett. They don't scare me in eating into his role at all. I would say as a Moncrief owner, I'd be confident in all those guys where you get them in the draft, but I'd be a little scared that Dorsett eats a little bit into Moncrief's numbers. But I think Hilton's a clear-cut number 1 there, so I'm not concerned at all. And Demarius, I feel like just the value alone. I know I've said that he's, in my eyes, not a fantastic wide receiver, and that his numbers might be, you might look at those and say that he's super elite, but when I watch his film, I don't see an elite receiver anymore, especially with the quarterback situation. But as my number 3, I'm pretty sure he's safe. He's relatively safe as my number 3. If he was where he was going last year, what is this thing? Is it an email? Huh. If he was going where he was last year, like 2nd round, like no, don't take him in the 2nd round. But where I have him in the end of the 3rd round, I feel comfortable taking him there. So I feel comfortable with all 3 of those picks, and there's only 2 spots ahead of me, so cool with that. The next question is, do I take a 4th wide receiver? All right, so someone took Landry. I feel comfortable with Demarius. Hilton I love this year, and maybe I would take him. I'd probably take him at 39. But I feel like Demaryius would be our pick here. I don't really care about this bye week in week 11 because I'm going to have wide receivers to fill in there. There goes Helton. So who are the running backs? Murray, DeMarco, Langford. Those are guys I like. I'll just bring all of those guys down here. I think in that order too. Definitely rising. Oh god, definitely rising a lot on where is he? Murray. I feel like I have him ranked kind of low. I'll move that up a little bit. But who are the wide receivers? Because I do want stud wide receivers. Edelman, I don't know. I'm a Patriots fan. I just don't know. He gets hurt every year. Plus no Brady for 4 weeks. But I don't know. I don't know. Not as my 4 in this setup. In a normal, if I could start 4, I'd take him. But I feel like Decker's a better play there. I'm definitely going to try and get Marvin Jones. If I could scroll. Marvin Jones, John Brown are 2 guys I like. They're going a little bit lower. But there's a lot of time in there. So I either take Decker here or 55. Murray probably won't be there. So I either take Decker and then get stuck with DeMarco or reaching on a running back. Yeah, I don't like that situation. So I'm going to take Latavius. He's a better standard play, Latavius is. But with that offensive line, and the fact that they basically come out and said that they want to just feed him this year, and I think their defense is underrated. So they're going to be up in games. They're going to want to kill the clock with him. I definitely, having drafted him, I need to draft DeAndre Washington late. But that shouldn't be too hard. I can probably get him 10th round. Something like the 10th round. Basically, if you want to ever get a handcuff, just reach one round early and ensure you get them. But I don't generally handcuff guys unless maybe Jamal Charles, Rawls, Latavius, CJ Anderson. That's probably it. That's probably all I would handcuff. I don't know that there's anyone else. No one else comes to mind. I can scroll through the people here. Those are the only guys I'd ever handcuff. Well, Doug Martin, but I think Sims is more of a standalone player. I guess I've never drafted Doug Martin this year. I drafted him in a few leagues last year, but not this year. Too rich for my blood, especially in a PPR league. He's going too early. Who are the tight ends? I don't know, I take a gander sometimes, but I wouldn't probably draft a tight end ever before the 8th? The 8th round probably, if like Fleener was there. I mean, well, obviously like Delaney, Kelsey, Fleener, I probably would take in the 8th. I'm not sure I'd reach any earlier than that. So with the next one, well, I would normally take Emmanuel, but not if I have Demaryius. John Brown? I feel like going John Brown and Marvin Jones in these next 2 picks would be ideal. How many bench spots here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 7? Oh my god. 7 bench spots. So then I'll have probably 3 wide receivers in the bench and 4 running backs. So I only need 2 of those wide receivers to be studs. So I can take Brown and Marvin Jones and then take running backs with the next 5 picks maybe. 4. Next 4 picks. Yeah, because no one else is jumping off the list to me. See if anyone's super low. But I pretty much know the rankings at this point. And that was with my NFL.com mock draft that I just recorded it, but it'll go up the Monday before this one. I didn't realize that the rankings were so different. I mean, there were guys that were absolute steals late. Darn, DeMarco got taken. Yeah, there's no one. Well, Bernard is a nice name at this point, but I don't need to take him. I don't need to reach on anyone. So I'll take 2 wide receivers here. Yeah, I've looked through the list a couple times. It would be John Brown and Marvin Jones. Both those guys, I feel like I've taken a lot just because I love them. John Brown, a little bit concerning with the concussion. That take him like 2 weeks or so to return. But I guess they said that, I don't know if he just like hadn't been given the test or something, but like it would have been quicker if it was the regular season. I don't know why they wouldn't give him the test, but I don't know. He just hadn't gotten the test or something like that. But if he gets another concussion before the season starts, he's basically going to drop off my rankings completely. And that might seem harsh, but it's not that like I wouldn't take him in the last round. It's that for where you would have to take him, having 2 concussions in the preseason as a smaller player, there's no way that I would want to invest anything in him, because then if he gets another concussion during the year, it's going to take him multiple weeks to return. And at that point, I don't want to draft him anything higher than like the 12th round at that point. But he hasn't. If he's healthy for the year, I mean, he might be the best receiving option on that team. He's the guy I like the most. I would take him, then Floyd, then Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald's higher in PPR because he does catch more passes. I don't really like Fitzgerald much in standard, but that's the order I'd take them in. It'd be Brown, Floyd, Fitzgerald, which is, I think, the order they go in. Make your pick. Unless it's Marvin Jones. I don't even know who I'd take if he takes Marvin Jones. Probably Devontae Parker, maybe? I don't even know, but Marvin Jones. And again, a lot of people don't like this, but it's the best way to draft. It really is. Instead of reaching on a running back that you feel meh about, I'm probably going to take Sims coming up. I mean, obviously Bernard would be nice, but I don't know if he'll still be there. Duke Johnson I could still get. Oh, good. He has a concussion. Nice. Powell I actually really like. He's moving up my rankings a lot, especially in PPR. Let's see, I have him 26th. I'm actually going to move him ahead of Foster right now. And look at that. Forte, Sims, Powell. Like, I would rather, because you need to take Forte real early. I would rather have, for the value of each, Powell than Forte by far. There's no way Woodhead hasn't been taken, right? Yeah, okay. Just making sure. Because Woodhead obviously would be better than all of them. But if I could get Bernard and Powell here, and then maybe Sims is still left. Sims is 104. I feel like he keeps going up the list. You guys know Sims is like my favorite player for this season. I think he's going to have a huge year. But these are 3 guys that I seem to always target in PPR leagues. Is Bernard, Powell, Sims. If you can get those guys on your roster after going wide receiver heavy with whatever wide receivers you think are better. I know some people don't agree with my wide receiver rankings, but I'm not sure how many people would be upset if they had, in PPR, full point, Allen Robinson, Brandon Marshall, Demaryius Thomas. And then on their bench have Brown and Marvin Jones to fill in on bye weeks. Because notice both these guys don't have the same bye weeks as them, so they'll both be playing probably week 11. One of them will be playing week 5, and then there's injuries, there's down years. I mean, it's possible. I've said I don't think Demaryius is that fantastic. It's possible he starts the year bad. And if he does, I can throw John Brown in. It won't really be an issue. But I just don't trust running backs after last year. And I don't think that's an issue. Like, is it possible that running backs, it was just an aberration and all of the top guys are good? Yeah, it's possible. But what's more likely is that the most likely thing to happen is that instead of literally like all but one running backs in the first 2 rounds busting, I would say like half. And that's honestly what the numbers point to every single year, is that half of them bust and half of them don't. And I wouldn't be able to live with myself if my first round running back busted after I've been shown all of this data to where wide receivers are safer, wide receivers score more points, wide receivers have more upside each week, and then to take a running back early and have him bust. It's just I can't I don't believe in running backs. And running backs show up in the middle rounds a lot. I mean, I won my league last year, and I don't think I didn't draft a running back until like, oh, I drafted Gordon in the third. That was stupid. But I drafted my running backs generally in the middle rounds, and I drafted Doug Martin in the middle rounds. I drafted Latavius Murray in the middle rounds. I didn't need to spend a high pick on a running back, and I would have been much better off going wide receiver with my first four instead of three of my first four, because one of them busted. And that was the thing with a lot of teams last year. And it was the thing with a lot of teams the year before and a lot of teams the year before, is that running backs bust. You never know what's going to happen. I'd rather have Sims than Doug Martin. Just because Doug Martin you have to take in the fourth and Sims you have to take in the eighth. And honestly, have I released that video? So at this point I will have released that video. And actually it was the no? I'll hold off on the prediction. I don't actually know if I'll have released that video yet. But it's 5 bold predictions for this year. And I made a prediction on Sims, because you guys could probably predict that. Because I honestly think, I'll just say it right now, I think I'll have released a video, but I think Sims will outscore Doug Martin in PPR, full point PPR scoring in this year. You can get Sims, you could probably get him in the 9th round, but I just wanted to be safe in this draft, took him in the 8th. I think Sims is going to outscore him. Doug Martin you take in the 3rd round, Sims you can take in the 8th, 9th round, and Doug Martin will be outscored by Charles Sims. I think he's a better talent. He's going to receive a lot more balls, and Winston doesn't look that good, so they might be down a lot, and when they're down, Doug Martin doesn't run it. I mean, I think he was first in the NFL in either first quarter or first half carries, and then literally he'd have like 90 rushing yards at halftime, and he finished with 96. Because they didn't give him the ball in the second half. It was all Sims. I think that happens again this year. But you guys have heard me talk about him enough. I don't need to do that anymore. So, do I need to handcuff? Yes. DeAndre Washington, I'll wait until the 11th for that one. Could probably wait till the 12th, but I'll wait till the 11th. Just because I actually think he's a pretty good running back. Who I would target in the 9th? None of these guys. Well, Derrick Henry, but he won't be there. So I'll take a gander. My last wide receiver would be Dorsett. I feel like I take the same guys, but I like their value. Oh, and for everyone targeting Tajay Sharp in like the 10th round, you need to stop. Like in PPR, he's draftable, but in standard, he's not draftable in my opinion. In PPR, you can take him in like the 12th if you want, but I've literally seen Tajay Sharp drafted in the 10th round, and like people don't understand that they didn't even have a top 50 wide receiver last year. Like they are like the Vikings in that they don't throw the ball. So they brought in Derrick Henry. They're gonna run the ball a lot, like a lot, with DeMarco and Derrick Henry. They'll probably each get like 15 carries a game. So with them running the ball like 30 plus times, plus Mariota running the ball, it's just not a high volume offense. He'd need to be the number one to even post 10th round numbers. He'd need to be the clear-cut number one. And plus he's going to be targeted probably behind Delaney Walker. So I don't know. I didn't even realize. Look at all these auto picks. It's going to be a short video. So Dorsett. Is that what? No, Coleman. I would take Coleman before Dorsett. Probably Vincent Jackson too. But I would take Corey Coleman here. Is there anyone? There is no one else I would draft. So Coleman's preferable. And then I'll just see who the running backs are at that point. Take Corey Coleman. Running backs, I mean, theoretically would have been fantastic, but I'll take Booker. Even though no, I'll take Washington. That's safer. I would take Booker if I felt like I could get DeAndre Washington at 130, but I feel like with all these stupid auto drafters that he would be taken. Would I take Lewis is the question. So here's another thing. I would have definitely released a video saying don't draft Lewis in standard. There's no IR spot in this league, so it's preferable not to draft Dion Lewis. But my team is Allen Robinson, Marshall, Demarius, Latavius, Belai, Sims. All those guys, I feel very confident that if I had no other options, I'd still be fine. And maybe if one of them gets hurt, I can plug in Marvin, Brown, DeAndre, Coleman. I can plug those guys in and be fine. So I don't need necessarily both of these picks here to produce ever. So if I can hold Dion Lewis and him never see the field and my team would still be fine, that's the point I'd draft him. And not a second before that. If you're sitting there like, well, it'd be really nice if he came back because it would really help my team, don't draft him. Because he's probably not coming back till week 10 at the earliest, in my opinion. But with this team, it honestly doesn't matter if he ever comes back. So, did he already get drafted? I'm just talking. Let's just see. I'm pretty sure he already got drafted. Oh, no, he didn't. Draft. I will draft him here because I don't ever need him to come back. Once you hit that point in the draft, you can take Dion Lewis. Whoops. Wait. 1, 2, 3. I need another running back. Vereen in PPR is good. Well, James White is going to play when Lewis isn't there. Christine Michael has a lot of upside. Paul Perkins isn't terrible. Alfred. I'll take Alfred. Why not? Because these are two speculative picks. Neither of these guys need to ever produce. But if Ezekiel Elliott gets hurt, Alfred Morris is an RB1. When Lewis comes back, he is an RB1. So both of those guys are potential RB1s. And that's what you want to fill up your bench with, is potential RB1s. Basically, this next round has to be quarterback because all I have is... Oh, tight end. I didn't realize that. Wait, who's left? I'd take Carr. I'd take Dalton. I don't know how Dalton is ever so low. I'd take Stafford. I'd be fine with all those guys. And... Oh, did someone draft Vance? Where's Vance? Oh, no one did. He's just super low for some reason. So I can hold off on Vance. I'll just take a quarterback with this next pick. I'm basically, literally, Vance McDonald is the steal of this year's draft. I don't understand how he's so low. You can get him in like the 14th round. Dalton or Stafford? I have him back to back. I kind of prefer Dalton. No, I prefer Stafford. Like I was saying, he's basically the steal of this year's draft. Like, you can get him so late, and literally all tight ends are steals. Dwayne Allen, Ebron, Witten, and PPR. Like, I actually don't even need to take Vance because I prefer Witten and Ebron. Obviously, what's the news on him? Awesome, he missed practice. Yeah, safety net Witten. Everyone's down on Witten, I swear, every single year. It's like, how many times does he need to be great? What is the stat on Witten? Where'd he go? Hasn't missed a game since 2003. 12 consecutive seasons of 700 or more yards. Is that everything on him? Yes. He has 12 straight years of over 700 yards, and yet someone's going to take a guy whose upside is like 700 yards. Like, he does it every year. Plus, he catches a bunch of balls in PPR. I don't get why people don't like him. But defense kicker in these last two rounds. Like I was saying with Vance, he's honestly like the best receiving option for the 49ers. So, like, why would you not want that? As a tight end, literally, if your tight end gets you 6 points a week, you're golden. Well, in standard. So if he gets you 10, 10 points a week in PPR, you're golden. And I think Vance is going to easily get that. I think he's going to probably be in a top 10 option. So Rams there, and literally I could not care less who this kicker is. Why is he suspended? Oh, didn't he like? Is that the guy? I don't even remember. I don't know why he's suspended. I thought I heard something about there was a kicker who performance-enhancing drugs, but I don't know. Maybe that is him. This is the team. We got Stafford, Latavius Murray, Bly Powell, Allen Robinson, Brandon Marshall, Witten, Demarius Rams, Prater, John Brown, Marvin Jones, Charles Sims, Corey Coleman, DeAndre Washington, and then 2 speculative picks in Dion Lewis and Alfred Morris. I think that's a really good team for PPR, definitely, because I did get PPR running backs that I think can easily carry the load, so I can stack up on wide receivers. That's the end of the video. If you watched this far, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching.